Utah is now just over 2 days away from carrying out its first execution in more than a decade.
And it's the first execution by lethal injection in nearly a quarter of a century. Tabron Honey was sentenced to die for the aggravated murder of his ex-girlfriend's mother in 1998. After exhausting nearly every option for commuting the sentence, his attorneys are now asking Governor Spencer Cox for a delay. They sent the governor a letter saying the entire process has been rushed. The Department of Corrections sent us a response, reading in part, "We've been meticulously planning this process for several months, and we understand the defense has a job to do, but the narrative of a rushed and even reckless process is false." The last time the state of Utah put a prisoner to death was more than 14 years ago, but things were different with that execution.
Yeah, News Specialist Daniel Woodruff spoke with a couple of KSL journalists who witnessed it.
When convicted murderer Ronnie Lee Gardner was shot to death by firing squad in 2010, longtime Utah journalists Pat Reevey
It was the first time I'd seen a firing squad execution.
and Cheryl Worsley
I think I'm changed after seeing something like that.
watched it happen.
But I don't think I'll ever be the same.
When a prisoner is executed in Utah, some of those who witness it are reporters. When Gardner was put to death, Pat, now with KSL.com, was working for the Deseret News.
Ronnie Lee was...
Cheryl, who oversees
wearing
KSL podcasts, was the news director at KSL News Radio.
You're performing the journalistic act of bearing witness to the execution, but how do you process personally watching someone be put to death?
That's a good question. I don't know that you fully process that.
The Gardner execution attracted a lot of publicity.
There's just more worldwide attention to a firing squad execution.
And it left an impression on those who witnessed it.
We were there probably, I don't know, less than a minute, and it just went boom, boom. It kind of was jarring. It caught me off guard.
Unlike that one, the upcoming execution of Tabron Honey will be carried out by lethal injection. Pat has witnessed one before.
It's less violent, I guess is the best word. It's more like almost a medical procedure where you see a person lying on a gurney with an IV attached to his arm.
You've seen an execution by firing squad. Is it something you would want to personally witness again?
I mean, for the sake of journalism, I would witness it.
I would not volunteer for it, but if it meant a seat was going to go empty, I would do it again, because we have an obligation. When the state conducts someone's death on our behalf, we need to be there to tell how it's done.
Daniel Woodruff, KSL 5 News.
Daniel, thank you. Pat Reevey will be one of the Utah journalists witnessing the execution of Tabron Honey just after midnight on Thursday morning. Our team will be following this event during Wednesday night's 10 p.m. newscast and in the hours that follow. Be sure to click on KSLTV.com or download our KSL Plus app to get alerts and stay up to date with all of our coverage.